What do you say to those of us who may have fallen out of love with the Democratic Party? What do they need to do better? Because I know there's a need for us to get out and vote, but there is a
Right.
resounding group of people who are just saying the Democrats aren't doing anything. Biden doesn't care about us. What do you
Anybody?
say to the Democratic class about having better leadership to make us come out and vote more?
First of all, anybody who is saying those two things, you know what they're talking about. And so that is an indication of two things. One, they don't have the knowledge of what's going on. And you also can blame folks who are not actually speaking to the issues. Here's what I mean by that. When somebody says they're not doing anything, that's just on its face is a lie. It's a lie. If you say, okay, under Trump, he wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. They stopped advertising. They stopped pushing it. Under Biden, they expanded it. They've now broken the record 3 straight years for people who are covered. The percentage of Americans who are not covered today is less than 9%. Black health coverage has expanded dramatically because of the Affordable Care Act. Now, people say, well, that's not just for us. It's not. But healthcare is damn near important to Black people.
Yeah.
So that's one issue. $6.5 billion specifically to HBCUs. $6.5 billion. I got the Excel sheets right here. Okay. 6.5, the largest in history. In fact, if I pull the Excel spreadsheet, I'll send to y'all. If you look at the dollars that a Florida A&M, North Carolina A&T got from the state and their state schools, they got 4 to 6 times more from the federal government than did from their own state, and they're state funded. So that's a perfect example. 3, you look at minority businesses, Black, minority, women-owned businesses. 3 years of consecutive increases. Then you look at the dollars being allocated to expand the opportunities. Those things are happening. Now, I've been blasting the White House Democrats because they are awful at narrative. They are awful at telling people what's going on. They're awful at telling your story. Plies called them out by saying, damn it, y'all need to learn how to brag. So this is a part of the problem, that you're doing stuff, but you ain't communicating to people. You ain't buying advertising on Black-owned media platforms, whether it's yours or whether it's mine. You're not driving the people out there to say, hey, here's information. I just got a call over the weekend from a sister who's working on a program with the USDA, the Agriculture Department, providing loans for homes for low-income people in for affordable housing. I'm like, who are y'all telling about this here? And so these things are happening. The mistake that people make is they go, man, Democrats ain't doing nothing, they're Republicans. No. This is what I do. I tell everybody, what do you care about? So somebody says, here are my top 5 issues. Okay, my top 5 issues. I had a brother tell me, he said, reparations is number 1. I said, okay. He says, Democrats ain't doing nothing about reparations. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, how many House sponsors are there for HR 40? He's like, I don't know. I said, 217. I said, of them, how many are Republican? He was like, 10. I said, 0. I said, can you name me one Republican in the House, in the Senate, that actually supports reparations? I said, number 0. I said, so you're saying to hell with the Democrats. I said, that's the only group of people who actually talk about your one issue. He was like, not one. I said, not one. He said, not one Republican. I said, not one, bro. Not one. So now when you go to education, I look at issues. I go, here are my 10 issues. Where does this candidate, because remember, you're voting for a candidate and a party, because here's the deal. Will your candidate be in the majority? So like right now, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton has a bill that specifically addresses the federal government spending for Black-owned media. She introduced the bill in November. Here's the problem. Democrats are in a minority in the House.
Yeah.
Her bill ain't going nowhere. So you might say, Congresswoman, great bill. It ain't going nowhere. But if Democrats control the House, bill could get passed. Now you still got to go to the Senate for the pass there to go to the president. But the bottom line is you now look at power. So I look at the judges. People go, man, these judges don't mean nothing. Are you out of your mind? Federal judges have immense power.
Absolutely.
So when you look at, so here's the deal. Who appoints judges? The president. Who confirms judges? The Senate. Well, if you want judges who are going to be sympathetic to class action lawsuits, civil rights, economic rights, environmental rights, you probably want a Democrat president and a Democrat Senate, because you have, look, you just had a Republican judge in Louisiana say the Environmental Protection Agency cannot use the Civil Rights Act when it comes to dealing with Cancer Alley in Louisiana. 50-to-1 ratio of minority people are impacted. Black people and others are impacted by cancer in Cancer Alley in Louisiana. That was a Trump federal judge. But guess what? When a federal judge ruled to Louisiana, get those juveniles out of Angola prison, you know who she was? An Obama appointee. So what I'm saying is people have to step back from ain't nothing being done to then go, okay, hold up. What does it mean? What actually is being done? And so this is why I keep saying we need Schoolhouse Rock 2.0. We need return to civics 101. We need to return to where we have freedom schools in the Black community, because there are things that are happening where people don't understand how the dots are connected. So you're somewhere, let's say somebody Black right now, and they in Tallahassee, and they're sitting here going, you know what, man, I'm sick and tired of the roads. Okay, so here's the first question. Is it a city road? Is it the county? Or is it the responsibility of the state? Well, guess what? The bulk of money for roads in America comes from the federal government. That's the infrastructure bill. Who passed the largest infrastructure bill since Dwight Eisenhower's president? Biden-Harris did. So right now, you have thousands of projects, bridges, roads, schools, other infrastructure that's being rebuilt, water system. So guess what? We complain about Flint. Oh, the water deal? It's part of the infrastructure bill in terms of dealing with the water crisis in this country. So the Biden folks have said, Biden-Harris, they're going to replace all lead pipes, I think by 2030. I think it's like a 10-year period. Okay, that impacts us. So I need us to, this is where we have to be smarter and stop getting locked into party to go, no. Here are my issues. And guess what? There are some people who are watching. They are like, I don't care about nothing but tax cuts. That's not a problem. That's your position. But for me, I could care about tax cuts because that's going to benefit me. But my concern as an African American goes beyond just me. I'm thinking about more of our people. And when I sit down and look at critical issues and I go, this is the Democratic candidate, this is a Republican candidate. Republican candidate might get 1 out of 10, might get 2 out of 10, aligns with me. I can't vote for that person if this person over here gets 7 out of 10. But here's the last point. Once the election is over, I still gotta push them to make it happen. And that's a mistake too many of us make. We step out of the process when we're supposed to now step into the process.
Okay, and how do we do that as a quick follow-up?
Easy. First of all, we have to understand politics in this country is it's on multiple levers. Again, city, school board, county, state, federal. That's our politics. So if I'm trying to say, man, I really, what did progressives finally learn? If I really want to change the mass incarceration, the criminal justice reform system, I got to change who the district attorney is, because they're determining who gets prosecuted. We kept coming to DC, pass a bill. No, change the DAs. If I care about, so that's one issue. If I care about the education of my kids, I can't run to Congress. I need to say, oh, what's happening with the school board? Okay. So I got to understand politics. I got to understand who controls what. What it now then means is, okay, these council members and these school board members and these county politicians, state and federal, they got town hall meetings. Okay. You're a constituent. Okay. I tell them, you ride them. I covered City Hall. You know why I saw white folks be showing up? Now, granted, I understand time, people got to work, but they be showing up at the committee hearings, city council hearings. We often only show up to stuff when it's an emergency, when they're gonna shut our schools down, or we'll pack a meeting. But 6 months ago, we could have stopped it 6 months ago. So we have to now use our groups. MLK said this in his book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos Whole Community? He said there are 4 institutions that are positioned to liberate Black America: the Negro Church, the Negro Press, the Negro fraternities and sororities, Negro professional and business organizations. We got Black infrastructure, bro. We've got Divine Nine. We've got Masons, Eastern Star. We've got the Links. We've got church groups. We got all this infrastructure, but how are we using it? How are we mobilizing and organizing to change something? I've given speeches across the country, and I've said this here. Let's take Divine Nine, Prince Hall Masons, Eastern Star, and Links. That's 12 organizations. What if those 12 said, okay, this month we gonna go to the council meeting, y'all go to the school board meeting, we going to the county commissioners meeting. Then next month, a different group. See, we're not using our capacity. The person who's sitting out there, understand, you're a constituent. If you voted for somebody for Congress, let's say that Democrat, and the Republican won, you are still a constituent. You still should be calling them. You still should be emailing them. You still should be telling your neighbors, no. Hit them on the phone, because we are still constituents. When we check out of the process, it's easy to ignore us, but it's hard to ignore folk when they're on your behind every week.